Do you know the warning signs that would tell you someone you know is using drugs?
No, I do not.
Do you know what to do when someone you know is using drugs?
Call my family physician.
And do you know where to find support or resources about drugs in your community?
No, I don't.
Do you know the warning signs that would tell you someone you know is using drugs?
No.
Do you know what to do when someone you know is using drugs?
No.
Do you know where to find support or resources about drug use in your community?
Community services.
If there's a marked change in behavior, something's going on. So it could be hygiene, it could be the people they're hanging out with, it could be defiance, it could be paraphernalia, smells, some physical symptoms too could come up, and depending on the drug that they're using as well. Like if they're smoking weed, then that's different than if they're doing Molly, where they're up for 3 days and you don't see them for 3 days, or they're not sleeping for extended periods of time, or not eating for extended periods of time.
Are you actively using?
Yes, I am.
What kind of supports are you using right now in the community?
Just the shelter and the workers here, and that's about it right now.
Cool. So are you actively using
Yes.
drugs? Okay. And what type of support exists like in the mission area? Do you know if it's like what kind of help
Friendship
you can get?
center, community services, here, the shelter. The youth house for youth.
Are you actively using?
Yeah,
Yeah. So do you know some supports in
local.
the mission area?
There's a friendship center. There's if you're youth, there's a youth house that just opened up in my house. That's up to age 25, I believe, right? So it's not just 18 and under or something, right? So there's quite a bit of places, right, that you can go. There's the community center too, like you can go there. There's a lot of help. A lot of recovery houses over here too, And they got second stage home if you're ready to, right through here. So it's pretty good. There's a lot of support. I mean, if you're willing to put in the work, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's there.
Cool.
It's there.
So can you think of any like the most effective way to approach that loved one that you know is using that might not think they have a problem?
Well, relationship. You need relationship. That is your equity that allows you to speak into that person's life. If they know that you care about them and you have their best interest in mind, then that's the best starting point.
Have conversations with them, I've noticed a change, how are you doing, is there anything going on? Try not to vilify the behavior so that they'll actually talk to you about it. It's tough. They're not going to make a change until they're ready. But if you judge and if you come top down and start wagging your fingers and stuff, they're going to shut that door firmly and not let you through.
Meeting people where they're at and helping them out with their concerns and the needs that they're expressing, instead of having expectations that they meet my standards before I'll help them. I think that's made a really big difference.
In my experience, most people have to come to that conclusion by themselves. Blaming, shaming, finger pointing don't generally work. But if a pamphlet was left lying around or a conversation left on the TV, maybe a popular movie that has some kind of drug use theme in it or some recovery theme, they might get the hint more gently and start to think about it themselves and come to their own conclusion.
And then provide the resources. You know, when you're ready, there's tons of stuff we can do. There's lots of people I can connect you with to get there.
We have outpatient counseling like what we offer, which is people come and do their counseling and walk out the door. There's day, evening, and weekend treatment, both for youth and for adults, where people come just like they would for residential treatment, except that they go home to sleep in their own beds at night, right? But they get the same kind of group counseling and individual counseling and intensive treatment, very similar to what they would in a treatment center.
What's being done in the community to support youth that you know of?
Most recently, My House, the addition of My House, the Mission Youth House, is probably one of the best low barrier things for youth. We have some other services that are available, but you have to jump some hoops to get there. My House, you just show up after 11 o'clock. You can stay there all day if you want to. Get fed, talk to youth workers. There's a doctor on site on Wednesdays and a nurse on Mondays. So in terms of a low barrier ground level entry place for youth, it would be My House, for sure.
So I am the alcohol and drug counselor here at the Mission Friendship Center. We offer post and pre support for individuals seeking treatment or coming out of treatment facilities. We also do referrals for those facilities as well as community supports. Some of the things that we do here at the center, or I do, we run groups. I just started a men's group here, that's weekly, to help kind of facilitate conversation with men, to kind of normalize some of the stigmas that have been put on men and kind of talking about that. We also offer anger management, relationship building, codependency boundary courses, as well as one-on-one counseling for myself. Other than that, we do offer language class, so sometimes just reconnecting with the culture you never knew, it helps connect people to something greater than themselves, right? Which is kind of the same thing around the 12-step group. It's something bigger than yourself, and that's important for everyone to belong to.
We offer recovery for women for addiction, and it's first stage support. So we bring people in usually possibly off the street through an intake process, and through also maybe from prison, or maybe they're just self-referring. We offer a 90-day program, so we ask people to make a 90-day commitment, and we have a pretty full program for them. We don't generally detox people here. We are beginning to offer some extra help now with the opioid crisis in that regard, but we will screen people pretty carefully. And then through the 90-day program, they will go through relapse prevention and anger management and a pretty intense life skills program that goes for 10 weeks that covers wellness. We take a wellness approach because they'll do some work on their timeline, how did I get into addiction, but also we want to help them focus on where do I move forward from here. So how do I find wellness in all the areas of my life, spiritually and mentally, emotionally, relationally, physically, and also educationally or vocationally, and figuring out what are my next steps.
What does your program do, and what type of supports do you offer within it?
Well, Last Door is it's a men's treatment center, abstinence-based treatment center. For men 19 and up. So we offer various supports. We focus primarily on group counseling. We do offer one-on-one counseling, whether it's relationship counseling if there's extra, if somebody if somebody has issues that they need outside of what group counseling can offer, then we do that. We also have quite a few adjunct groups, like a co-parenting group for men that either with or without partners, so they're learning how to be, better parents, right, and co-parent. We do have a couples group, so men that are, have partners at home that they're trying to either re-establish the relationship or just make the relationship better. And we have other groups like yoga, acupuncture. We do have a facility physician that the men see. And what else? Oh, parents group. We call it our family program. So there's quite a few groups that are based on the family dynamics. So parents can come in once a week and learn what recovery is and how to support somebody in recovery. And generally, we usually tell parents to, or not tell them, but recommend that they get involved in a program like Nar-Anon or Al-Anon or something as well for themselves, so they can learn a little bit more about recovery. And it depends on the individual and what their needs are. So basically, treatment would involve building a bit of a case plan for the individual. We're not a cookie cutter program where we want to find the best fit for the individual, right?
So Gary, how long have you been in recovery for?
10 years.
10 years.
I've been sober for 8. I had a relapse.
Okay, so what motivated you to seek recovery initially?
We had lost custody of our child, Jesse.
And Barb, for you, how long have you been in recovery for?
I have over 10 years, and I was previously sober for 3.5 years. I had a 6-month relapse, so I've been in recovery now for 15 years.
The recovery program that has worked and become successful for us has been the AA program, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
We've gotten come in, get a sponsor, go to meetings, do service work, do the steps, period.
So what keeps you from using now? Is it just the program and keeping up with that routine and checking in with yourselves?
For me, God, the steps, and the program. Okay, service.
Beyond the initial obvious rewards of being sober and living within a society, like our life is so much more successful than it was, I would say God, my family, the program, and the fellowship, my friends. I've developed such a support group that I talk to people all day long, and every person I choose to talk to, unless they are part of an outreach that I'm trying to help them, every person I talk to in my friend circle is supportive, loving, caring individual. Exactly.
Yeah. Are there professional supports in your life currently, or that have helped you on this journey?
Yeah, counseling. We have lots of counseling, yeah.
Separately or together?
Separately and together.
Yeah.
What worked best for you in that?
Honestly, I think the only thing that will work for me is a program of complete abstinence, which is what the treatment center that I went to and the fellowship that I belong to support, right? And staying connected with people that understand what it means to be in recovery and what it means to, fight to escape the clasps of addiction.
What made the process of recovery successful for you?
I think it was initially for me, it was what I heard, the energy in 12-step meetings. Because my first 12-step meeting was Narcotics Anonymous, and I just, the people that shared in that meeting, there was some energy to it. It seemed like, I felt like the people that I met in that first meeting, that they were just normal people, but everybody seemed happy, and there was a large meeting. Before the meeting started, everybody was talking. There was a buzz in the room. While people were sharing, they seemed passionate about what they were talking about, and being younger when I got clean, there was a lot going on. There was, people were doing things after the meetings, outside of the meetings. They were getting together and, going to dances, and there's activities happening, and, just going to beaches, having people over for dinners and all that kind of stuff.
Here you're talking a lot about connection and relationships with family, with peers, within the workforce. Is this, in your opinion, one of the crucial parts of recovery?
Yeah, it's one of the key components to recovery. Absolutely. Because in addiction, it's all about isolation, loneliness, desperation, despair. So, of course, it has to be the exact opposite in recovery, and so that's what we try to do. Living together as a group, doing things as a group, involving the families. We're always trying different things. So, in that aspect, it's like we treat every case, every individual as as different, right? So that because everybody has different needs, so we're just trying to meet the needs that the individual needs.